Hello, you guys. Happy Friday Live. Yay! It is Friday, September 24th, and I have lots to talk to you guys about. I see you guys joining me now. It's wonderful to see you. If you guys see, there is in the comments area, there's a thing you can click on, and it allows me to see your names when you comment, which is awesome because then I can actually see you. And I have my Facebook open so I can see that too. So I have a lot to share with you guys. I have a fabulous message to share, which is really, really beautiful. But I also have to talk about what's going in my life personally, because I think that it might be helpful for you guys. Hello, it's great to see you. Thank you. Great for joining. Thanks so much for joining me. So, hey, Rebecca. So, okay. So first things first, the message today is about our stuff coming up. And my stuff is coming up. And I had this this split lip, this stress thing happen right here, which was like, I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I contemplated like doing this outdoors and wearing a mask so it wouldn't be obvious. And then I realized, you know what? We have to like use our life as the soil from which we grow, right? Like the stuff that's happening in our lives is all there to serve us. So yeah, so I have this stress thing happening on my face, which is such a bummer. It's healing. It's almost done. I've worked through it. But I want to talk to you about why it came up and what it meant to me and how I think it might be, and it's definitely relevant to the message that we got this morning. And hi, you guys. Thanks for joining. It's really great to see you. Hello, Amina. Okay, so one of the big things that happened this past week is I bought a house. And which is great news. I'm super excited. It's a big shift for me. It's a really big move because I have always prioritized living in the city, or really the priority has been location and view. I've always wanted to have a view out, hopefully at some sort of water. And I've always really prioritize being close in so I don't have to drive much, like ideally to be able to walk to everything I need. Like where I live right now, I'm relatively urban. I can walk to my groceries. I can walk to everything I need. I have a car, but it almost never comes out of the garage. And that's always been how I've liked to live. And the house I bought is in the middle of nowhere. And it is not any of those things. It is like, I've got acreage, you know what I mean? It's like, it's out there. And the thing that really got me in buying this house, and as I was going through the process of buying it, I could feel like anxiety rising. I could feel myself. It wasn't this clear, like home run, like, yes, let's buy this house. Like I would normally feel a lot of clarity around my choices. This one was not that case. That it wasn't that. I felt this anxiety coming up, and I'm like, okay, why? I had to sit with it and really ask myself, what is it? Like, what is it that's bothering me, and bother me to the point where I'm actually having a stress reaction? And so I sat with it, and I realized that buying that house is the first real, thank you for the congratulations on the house, you guys. Thanks. It is. It's exciting. And once I got over the stress, it's exciting. But the stress part was because it's the first real physical manifestation of the fact that we're going to be going through changes, the first manifestation of my belief in what's coming. Because the only context where it makes sense for me to buy this house is one where we're having a lot of earth changes going on, and where I feel like it's necessary for me to have access to be able to grow food and to do things like that. And so that really brought home for me that this stuff is like that. It feels close. It feels closer. It feels more real, it's the first real tangible effect on my life. And so I kind of had to deal with that, right? I had to deal with, what does this mean for everybody? And yeah, just all of that. So it all kind of came up, and it came out as this stress and this experience of several days of just like where I had a lot of, ambiguity about buying the house. So once I sat with it and settled with it, I felt a lot better. I felt like, okay, and now I feel really, really clear on it. I feel like I'm excited about the house. I feel happy about the house. And thank you guys so much for the congratulations. I really appreciate it. So it's a big decision for sure. But I feel good about it. And I have come to terms with it. But definitely in the meantime, my stuff came up. And I had to really look at it and say, why? Why do I feel this way? And so I wanted to talk with you guys a little bit about kind of two different things. One is the fact that our stuff is coming up, like that is the intention of this time period that we're in. And that's what the message is about today, about like right now we are in the thick of it and the stuff is rising. And then the other piece of it is I wanted to share with you, I've had several questions come up in both on YouTube and here about like how should people prepare? What are they doing? And I wanted to, I think it would maybe help to let you know some of the things that I'm doing that are, I think, because I think it's not as dire as we might think. There's so much fear out there about what's coming, and I don't think we have to be afraid. The goal is definitely not for us to be afraid. The goal is for us to take some steps that make sense for you where you live. And so me buying this property where I'm going to be able to grow some food is not something that everybody needs to do. And the reason I'm doing it is because part of, like, I have a very, very specific diet. Part of channeling and part of having this connection means, you know, I'm fully vegan. I don't eat gluten. I don't have any GMOs. I don't eat any processed food. Like, the diet is a big part of it. I have to keep myself super clear in order to be able to have the connection. And that's just part of it, right? And I've known that from the get-go. Like, once I started on this path, like every one of my dreams was about like my diet and my health. And it was like, this was the path, and it always was going to be for me. But that's definitely not the case for everyone. For example, my daughter is supposed to eat like me. My son can eat whatever he wants other than sugar and dairy. It's not so great for him. But he has he's on a different path. And he doesn't have the same restrictions. He's a lot more flexibility. But for me personally, I have this limited thing. So if we're in a situation where there's not as much available, I'm going to be in trouble. So I need to be in a place where I can have fresh produce. So that's why I'm making this choice. That's what makes sense for me. But that's not going to be the case for everybody. And I think as we're thinking about how to prepare for what's coming, the important thing to remember is my understanding is that it doesn't mean that nothing is going to be available. It just means that not everything is going to be available, that we won't have the same breadth of choice, or that there might be sporadic availability. So that's why the idea is to have a backstock so that you're always covered, so that if you go through a period where there isn't a lot, you have stuff. And then if there's anything specific that you need, just make plans for it. So if you happen to love spinach, grow spinach, and then you will always have it, right? You can plant, even in a small garden, in a window box, you can grow a few things if you want to. But if you don't eat a lot of vegetables, then don't worry about it. Like, just stop what you use. So that's I think the idea across the board in terms of preparing is to don't think of this as Armageddon, where there's nothing and we're, person against person. And, like they show it in the movies where immediately, as soon as something bad happens, like the bad guys come out and they attack everyone. And I don't think that's what's going to happen at all. Like, I think if anything, it's going to be about community coming together and supporting each other and helping each other. And that's a really beautiful thing. So I think in terms of making your own choices, like I even went through the question of, okay, I have a car that uses gas. Do I want to switch that out for an electric vehicle? No, I don't, because I think there will still be gas available sometimes. And what I'm going to do is probably get an electric bike, so that I have that option, right? And it's less expensive. It's probably going to be my choice. So think about it. My suggestion would be to think about all the things in terms of making your plans, not from a place of fear, but from a place of like, oh, just imagine that the supply chain situation gets worse. And so you just want to be in a place where, you're just kind of riding out the peaks and valleys, and where you have what you need and it's going to be okay. And so, yes, the angels always say, have a backstock of food, have a way to clean your water, to capture and clean your water. And think about this for you specifically, about where you live. Like, what are the issues that are likely to come up where you live? What are the things you rely on that have to get shipped to you, that would require transportation to get to where you are? And what is produced locally to where you are? One person asked about, they have farm animals. And the thought there was, if you have land for farm animals, maybe you also have space there to grow some food for yourself. And can you source food for your animals that's local, that's grown locally, that doesn't have to be shipped in? So maybe take the time now to try to to find a source of feed for your animals that you will be able, you'll still have access to, because they're local, right? So that's the kind of stuff, is just start looking around at what do you rely on that comes from a far distance, right? If you love bananas, stick some in your freezer. right? Like we just think about it from that perspective and it takes some of the pressure off. Yeah, and you're saying be prepared without fear. Exactly. You say, agree, I'm doing the same. I'm so glad to hear it. Yeah. You're saying, wish I was successful in growing spinach. Several attempts, no luck so far, but some seedlings just sprouted. Ooh, okay. Let's hope they grow. I have never successfully grown spinach either. This is going to be an adventure for me, this whole growing thing. But I figure I'm just going to try a bunch of stuff, and some of it might work. So I'm looking forward to it. It'll be an adventure. So that is my plan. So anyway, so hopefully that helps in terms of putting things into perspective. Like I said, prepare for, I think that the mindset, and yes, there will be some greater earth changes and things happening. So we have to kind of know that it's going to be unpredictable for a while. But I think the best that you can do is, the most important thing is to stay out of the space of fear and to stay in this place of, think of it as like periods of feast and famine, when things are available and then they're not. And so you just have something to get you over in the bridge in between. So yeah, so hopefully that's helpful. So as I was, like I said, as I was dealing with my stress about this feeling that all of this stuff is real and it's all coming in, and it represents a change. Like, this is a dramatic change for me, moving from a relatively urban environment where I literally walk to the grocery store, I walk to meet my friends, to a place where I'm going to be very car dependent, where I'm out in the middle of Nowheresville. I'm not totally in Nowheresville, but it's 30 minutes to town, right? It's 30 minutes to this area. So where I'm in now. And so that definitely brought up stuff for me. And you may be feeling for yourself that there is an acceleration in terms of what we're experiencing right now, in terms of junk coming up. And we talked about this, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, where they talked about peak experience, where we're really going through it, where it's like we're having high highs and low lows and a lot of stuff going on. And the truth is that even many of us here are light workers. Most of us here are light workers. And even as a light worker, even if you have previously graduated from the Earth School, even if you had moved beyond Earth School and you chose to come back in this incarnation, if it was an affirmative choice to come back and help and to serve others, even then, even if you had, say, for example, you had cleared your karma, when you came back to Earth, you would have to attach karma to yourself in order to ground onto the earth plane. So regardless of your spiritual level, you will have come in with karma in order to help ground you here and keep you here. So now all of that stuff is coming up. Everybody, that's what I guess I'm trying to say, everybody has stuff to come up. You can't be here unless you have stuff. And that stuff is now ready to come up because we're ready to move on. So this message is about that. So, and you're saying certainly feeling the acceleration. Yeah, me too, right? It is, I feel it too. Okay, so here's what the angels have to say. We bring you untoward sanction. You are rising within. And I want to stop right there because that's I paused when I first said that. I thought it was such a strange phrase. We bring you untoward sanction. You're rising within. And it is like it's like an unwelcome, so basically I looked this up and I had a good understanding and now I'm trying to remember as I'm telling you about it. So they're saying that they are looking at us and understanding the layers of us, and that it's not always good news for us, right? That yes, we have junk. That's what they're saying. We bring you untoward sanction is another really fancy way of saying you have junk. I have junk. You have junk. We all have junk. So you are rising within. That's the good thing. So we are rising beyond our junk. We have now stated our understanding of who you are. And I think that's important, that they're saying that you are rising within. We have now stated our understanding of who you are. That's like a blanket statement. And I think that is, if you just take that in one encapsulation, say you are rising within, we've now stated our understanding of who you are, that means that is such an important part of our being right now, an important part of who we are as a collective, that we are rising from within, that this defines humanity right now, that humanity is rising, that this defines us. So, wow. Okay. Your being is rising as we are. We are become intertwined with yourselves. We will draw from our housing encumbrance this united self, flowing through who you are into ourselves, uplifting further into the becoming. And Okay, so there was a channeling I did several weeks ago, which I have not shared because then I got a second one, and it's back there. I'll bring it forward at some point and share it with you guys. But in that channeling, they talked about how especially like think about your guardian angel. When you are incarnated, your guardian angel is like attached to you, and they come in and they are with you day in and day out, and that attachment is more than just like a person hovering nearby. They're literally integrated with your being. And that's what they're saying here. They're saying that your being is rising as we are. So as you are going through this ascension process, that guardian angel who's attached to you, they're experiencing it as well. And they're saying that we are become intertwined with yourselves. We will draw from our housing encumbrance, this united self. So they're saying that they're intertwined with us, right? Their guardian angel right here, intertwined with you. And they're saying that they will draw themselves from this encumbrance, from the connection that they have, this united way of existing where they're united with us, your guardian angel united with you. And they'll withdraw from that, flowing through who you are into ourselves, uplifting further into the becoming. So they flow through us as part of their expression as they go up, as they are rising. So this is their process of releasing and moving up as we move up, which makes sense. Like if we're moving up and they're connected to us, what happens to them? And the other channeling is all about what they go through to basically be here with us, which is also very interesting. So I know I'll bring that to share with you guys another time. So you're sharing, yes, rising within, so much more going on. Going within and communicating with your guides. Yeah, fantastic. Hi, all. You're saying they sure are communicating a lot every day and bringing memories of past lives, visions, messages. Oh, I love that. That's fantastic. Yeah, so you are in the thick of it, and that's fantastic. All right, they go on to say, yes, we are limited as you are, entrapment below the field of an earthly understanding, residing within the context of who you are. And here we take place gladly. We wear this bracket of housing, this encumbrance of physical light as pride, as joy, as celebration for aiding the self in all that is. So this is where they're basically speaking to that idea, probably because I didn't share the previous one. So they're mentioning it here. They're saying that when they come in attached to us in that way as our guardian angels, that they are limited as we are, that they accept, they're still angelic, but they're here. They're saying that they accept the entrapment below the field of an earthly understanding. So they're down here with us in 3D, and they're residing within the context of who you are. So they're living in the reality that we're creating for ourselves. So that is our guardian angel has that. They don't have the veil, but they're down here with us, and they're in the context of the reality that we're creating. So they're experiencing it with us, right? They're right here with us. They don't have the veil. They're able to communicate up, and they're able to communicate with other angels, right? They have that full openness, but they're also within this experience that we're happening. They go on to say that they're happy to do that, that they wear this bracket of housing, so they wear it, this encumbrance of physical light, as pride, as joy, as celebration for aiding the self in all that is. So they're happy to do it because they love helping us. They go on to say, rising from within does provide our passage upward, does bring us more peace, more joy to be had with the self. We rise as you are become. So as we're going up, they are thrilled because they're not stuck down here anymore. Like we go up, they go up. So it's like they benefit from this. And they're not saying that they would trade it. They're not saying that they would rather abandon us and be at a higher level. They're saying, no, they want to be here with us. But if we go up, that is only good news for them. All right. They go on to say, we say now an opportunity lies within for greater depth of perception. You are worthy and willing to account for what has ailed your trajectory. You know when we speak of troubles past, you have remembered. These rise and dwell beneath the surface of your being. Your satisfaction not achieved, you wonder, am I clear? Am I whole? Am I troubled still by what lies beneath inside of me? So here they're talking about that we still have more, there's more room for us to go deeper and for us to clear. There's more for us to clear. And that we are acknowledging it, like we're recognizing the things that have been in our past, we're recognizing our patterns, we're recognizing the things that need to be healed, and we're actively working on our healing. But that as we're doing it, there's always that, like, okay, I've healed this, but there's still some element of this pattern still seems to be showing up, or this thing that was frustrating me is not yet It's still present in my life. Like, am I healed? Did I do it? Is it working? Have I made the progress I wanted to make? So that's what they're referring to here. But that, am I whole? Am I still troubled by what lies beneath? They go on to say, and we say your rising is still a process of overcoming the depth of yourself, of knowing all aspects of freedom within the self to alleviate all connection to what has been. This separation can occur over time. The trouble of past incarnations of your own worthy plight are there residing still. And this really reminds me of a time back when I did it like when I was first really getting into channeling, and went to a channeling intensive. And at the end of the 2 weeks, we did readings for each other, and then readings for strangers that came in, and the whole thing. And this one guy that sat with me, I tuned into him and said, okay, you've got some stuff with your dad. And I was referring to it, and he got almost offended, and he said, no, I've cleared that. I don't have that. I identified, yeah, oh yeah, but no, I've cleared that. I've totally gone. I don't have that anymore. And my thought at the time was, well, if you've cleared it, then why am I seeing it? Because I didn't know his dad. I didn't know him. How is it that I was able to identify specifically the issue if it wasn't there? And I thought, well, I think that even as we clear things, there are layers to it, and that a lot of times that something you'll be clear, certainly you've cleared a lot, but there's probably still a shadow there. There's probably still some aspects, some elements, some stuff in there that has yet. So it's layers. It takes time, and not to be frustrated by that, right? Just to know that we are complex beings. There are many, many aspects of yourself. It's almost like each moment of impact in your life forms a person. And those people are all living inside of you, having their own experiences, and they rise at different times. So you may have healed the teenage experience of that particular grief, but maybe the childhood experience of that grief isn't healed, right? So you're saying this is true, so true. So you know what I'm talking about. That's, yeah, totally, right? And you're saying what's happening to them too. I don't think my community understands they have challenges too. Yeah, right. It's true. And angels do. Are you talking about angels? I think you must be. All right. So we go on to say, okay, you have grown much, and it is a wonder to behold, but now times are short, and beckoning you further is the grace of what will be. And we highlight in the self all that remains, all trouble that you seek to find, to alleviate, to rise beyond. For what is enlightenment but the alleviation of the self from all the weight that you carry, lessening the burden of what holds you down. So, so they're really saying that we are in the thick of it right now, that we're going through, that they're really trying to help us to clear as much as we possibly can, and that's why we're all experiencing this real contraction, and the raise, all of your stuff, all the junk coming up, and the faster pace of it. And I can tell you that in the healings I've done with my Golden Circle group, it's like the gloves are off, like they are going for it. And I feel like it's like I said, it's compressed time right now is what it feels like. They go on to say, we say not all carrying is possible for this life. And this is a really interesting concept. I've never heard this before. We say not all carrying is possible in this life. There are feelings beyond, trespasses against your nature, which dwell in your being, but which you have not brought into this incarnation. It is possible to live a life of pure happiness and return to earth another instance with more to bear. It has happened. The karmic wheel will suffice to employ your active readiness. So what they're saying here is that say, for example, your higher self has a whole closet full of junk, and you reach into the closet and you pull out which things you're going to bring with you for this incarnation. But when you get back, there's still stuff in the closet. There's still stuff up there. And so what they're trying to get at here is that, okay, so you can clear all the stuff that you brought with you. If you're like really on it and you're working on your healing, which I know being here, you guys are working on your healing. And so you can do that. And when you get to a place where you have finished, they may give you more. They may say, okay, great, you finished that. Here's another thing. Here's something else you can work on. Here's clear more. You can do more, right? There's that you maybe have completed your life purpose. Here's some more stuff. Take advantage of this time. So that's what they're saying is that there is the opportunity for us to take it as far as we want to go. They go on to say, but now we say all will halt if you wish to move beyond the system now. The carrying on of burdens past are released into the ether, and let yourself rise beyond the carrying of this faculty in school. Become another light of being. Allow the self passage through the veil. So this is where we're headed, right? We're headed into this where we're saying now it's coming soon. The now is like angelic now, which is like that now, like now is over there somewhere. So, but they're saying that this is where we're moving beyond the karma, beyond that. I love how they say that and let yourself rise beyond the caring of this faculty in school. I love that because it sounds like we're being so cared for, which we are in this place, even though it's hard. Like we are being so cared for here, so watched and so guarded and so directed for our own good. But so anyways, yeah, so there will come a time in the near future where we will no longer be able to carry all this stuff, and we'll release it, and we're gonna move up. And so the opportunity for clearing is right now. But when that happens, that's great, but that means that we're done with the clearing. So you're saying such a perfect time to transmute our karma and move from the karmic path to the dharmic path. Yes, that's exactly what we are after. Yes. All right, so they go on to say, you will find now your troubles do rise, and if you move beyond what you crave to heal, more will rise. New challenges are afoot up until that time that you pass beyond. For treasured is this time of enlightenment. Pressured you do feel surrounded by the might of your own friction and release, but have faith in your chance to move beyond and push the self to face them all. That which moves your tears and brings you whole, let them rise. The whole of your eternal self is in gratitude for the experience and release, and carries forward a more harmonic voice into the beyond that we are after. So this is where we're saying that what you're doing now, your higher self is like, woohoo, like your higher self is so happy about every single thing that you are clearing. Every little piece of progress that you make is yours to keep forever, right? It's always yours. And so every little bit of progress is to be celebrated. Every little thing that you face, that you confront, and that you release has the impact of that is infinite, because it just goes on for the rest of your existence. So your higher self is thrilled. I'll repeat this, that the whole of your eternal self, which is your higher self, is in gratitude for the experience of release, and carries forward a more harmonic voice into the beyond we are after. So that's like from that point forward, their song, the song of yourself, is clearer because of the work that you're doing. So, and you're saying on fire with joy. A perfect time. Yes, that's I was reading one of the other comments. Okay, there we go. All right. So you can claim it as you are encumbered still, but better yet to release all you can, all you claim to know and yet to reveal. All can purge and feel the self rising with more clarity attained. So they're saying that exactly as you are now, you can still rise, that you don't have to clear everything in order to be able to rise. That exactly as you are now, you are golden. You're ready to go. But better yet is to release everything that you can and to come as far as you can up until that point, to take advantage of the time. So they're not saying you have to do it. They're saying this is an opportunity to take advantage for your good going forward into the future. They're saying, have it now, treasure this time, heal, move, feel below your mind into the heart space, into the physical anatomy. Let your mind go and reveal what is painful. Let it be felt and let it flow. Now is the time. Do not shrink from these hard circumstances. Glow with them. Reveal your light. We see it within, and all that might block it is revealed in the truth of your becoming. Let it rise. So beautiful, right? And like I said, I can feel that this week with my stress with the house, and that's exactly what I had to do. Is I had to sit with it and say, why am I feeling this? Like, I feel anxious about this house purchase. Why? What is it? And it took me a little while to tune in and realize that it was that. It's my own acknowledgement that it's the theoretical stuff we've been talking about, that the angel messages that I've been sharing. It's all of a sudden getting really real for me, because I'm changing my life dramatically because of it. I'm moving house to a house. The only context, like I said, that it makes sense for me to buy that house is if I really believe this is all coming to happen. So anyways, if you guys have specific questions about because one of you said that's what I wanted to ask. And I was sharing earlier, so that's what I'd like to know, Anne. What about how I'm preparing or what I'm doing? Post them, and I will be happy to answer. I'm happy to share. I know I've talked about it before, so I don't want to repeat stuff for you guys. But if you have specific questions about it, let me know and we can talk about it here. You're saying, I was wondering about that. A total clearing is not required for ascension. Gratitude for what I can let go. I get, yes. Isn't that, it's so important to know. And yes, that is the truth. You do not have to be 100%. Just clear what you can and know that you're good. And it's all about that willingness, that openness. It's that awareness that we can clear, the awareness that everything we experience in our life is us, right? That's the place that you have to get to, where we're willing to take on what our burdens are and take responsibility for our burdens and heal, right? Yeah, so anyways, so thank you guys so much for joining me. Have a fabulous weekend. Hope you have a great time. I'm going to be over there painting, doing some painting work at my new place. So I will still be here in this place for a couple more weeks, but then I'll eventually move over there. So have a great weekend, you guys. Sending you lots of hugs and kisses, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.